Welcome to another episode of the Do Good Work podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the underlying reasons why leaders struggle to give up control. And this is any leadership team that I've seen. It doesn't just have to be from the top. It can be mid-level or even low-level managers struggle to give up control. We're going to go over why, and we're going to go over what to do about it. So let's get down to the three reasons that I've seen why leaders struggle to give up control. First reason is there's a lack of clarity of what's actually being done in the role or the work that they want to give up. They know what they're doing, but they haven't actually defined exactly how they've done it or what they're doing in a clear process or in clear buckets of time. That's number one. The second is they lack trust of the process or the ownership if they're handing it off to someone else. If you have trust in a process, then you're going to know that it's going to be done right. But if there's no process in place of how things are done or what's actually being done, then there's no trust, and no trust leads to inaction and fear because you don't want to give it up and you fear that something might break because you're not doing it. Okay. Then the third is having a lack of pulse in the company. And by what I mean by pulse is actually lack of knowledge of what's going on exactly at this moment at any given time, either looking at dashboards, at numbers, at reports. Okay. And that doesn't mean that they're not looking at the reports. They're just not tying together what that means for the full picture of the current state of the ecosystem or the company or the business at this very moment, right? You don't have to have the answers all at once, but you can get the answers in 3 to 5 minutes, right? But that's where I see the bottlenecks, the breaks in businesses, and this is what we're going to do about it. I kind of condense this into 4 simple steps. It doesn't have to be 4 steps. It can be 3, it can be 2, but essentially this is what I want to be able to see progressively for my clients as well as for your company. So the first thing is having clarity. Having clarity in what's being done, right? Even if it's just listing out the actual roles and job descriptions, or even just listing out the actions being done on a daily and weekly basis, and being able to see that in a full map or in a piece of paper, what is actually being done. And then the second piece is, how is it being done? And this is where a lot of people trip up, because you could be doing, pulling 50, 60-hour work weeks, but you shouldn't. You could probably do the same amount of work in 40 or 35 hours per week. And I've done that. I've helped individuals reduce and cut hours out of their workday simply by reshifting the way that they approach their work and the how they do what they do. Now, the third thing, once you have clarity, if you're a leader or you're helping a leadership team, is saying who is actually going to do this work. And are they skilled enough, or are they trained enough, or do they have the resources in order to complete this work properly? Because if you know that they're trained, you know that they have the resources, and you know that you're making an environment where success is inevitable, then you can trust the process. You know that the other person you're handing the work off to is going to get it done, right? It's either there's something wrong with the process that you've laid out, or there's something wrong with the resources you've given, or it's the individual, right? It's one of the three. But you can at least trust the process if you're putting your part in as a leader. Now, the fourth, and this is the most important part, this is highly overlooked: accountability. How can we ensure that we have active feedback loops from the person doing the work and giving us accountable reports, accountable feedback, so that we can see that they're actually getting the work done, or we can see progress, or we just see results, right? Depends on your industry, depends on your business, depends how you operate and how you flow. But how can we keep the people who are doing the work, or the machines, or the vendors, or the partners who are doing the work that we're handing off, how can we make sure that it's being done correctly? How can we make sure that they're accountable? And how can we make sure that we don't find out, 3 months down the line, right? So the best way to do that really is to have, a centralized place of communication, having a centralized, job description and understanding and expectations of both relationships, as well as having, dashboards where you can see either the numbers or the reports or the feedback in a very fluid way. So you have the pulse of the company or of the situation at any given time. And again, you don't have to know it like the back of your hand immediately, but at least you can find answers within 3 to 5 minutes, 10 tops, 10 minutes tops, being gracious there. So those are the things. Again, the issues why leaderships, at the end of the day, it's not ego. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But at the end of the day, it's really lack of trust. Not in themselves, but in trust in the fear of the unknown. Because if you fear, like you don't know if you're handing off a job or a role to someone else, you fear that it might get screwed up and it might break momentum, might break the progress. And that's just the typical fear of the unknown. But if you start uncovering the unknown over time and making that more clear and making it very obvious of what's being done, how they're getting it done, who's doing it, what's the accountability, then it becomes easier. And then for you as a leader, you get to relax. You get to breathe a little bit and know that it's not all on your shoulders or on your leadership team's shoulders. And you can empower leaders within your company to take more of a role if they're in their career path to become future leaders of the company, right? So that's how you're able to clear up bandwidth for potential leaders in your company, as well as bandwidth for yourself. So it goes in so many different ways that this benefits an organization, especially if you're trying to grow something a little bit bigger than just you. So that's the underlying reason why leaders struggle to give up control. And those are some of the things that you can do about it today. We'll see you next time. Hey, thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Do Good Work podcast. If this episode resonated with you or know someone it might help, hit that subscribe and share button. If you want a clear step-by-step action plan to apply some of these principles we just talked about and the fundamental principles to grow your company and scale your impact, head over to my website, dogoodwork.io, and get my book, Productive Profits. In the book, we'll go over in detail the result-driven actions that will ensure that you grow your company safely and also reach the goals and mission you're called to achieve. Now, if you want to work directly with me to help you apply these principles in your business, head over to my page, dogoodwork.io/work with Raul. And there you'll see how it is to work with me. You'll see some kind words from other business owners, real businesses who have seen and felt the direct impact I help them create. And on that page, you'll be able to connect with me via email. We'll hop on a call. And even if we work together or not, you will leave with a customized action map for your own company. Yes, I'm that serious about providing value to anyone who comes my way. It's an honor to be part of your journey. This is Raul Hernandez. Do good work.